Pirates are evil. The Marines are righteous. These terms have always changed throughout the course of history. Kids who have never seen peace and kids who have never seen war have different values. Those who stand at the top determines what's right and what's wrong. This very place is neutral ground. Justice will prevail, you say? Of course it will. Whoever wins this war becomes justice. But enough with the Doflamingo monologue. Let's go ahead and get started with the real piece of resistance here today. Yo, peoples! Kyushu92 here, and I am so grateful for this light right here because it's gloomy outside and the natural light would have butchered me. So, a little bit of an update. And I will put this in the community tab. Originally, I thought I would have to stay during the entirety of my church service in order to play for altar call music, but apparently that is no longer the case. It was just something that was just brought up during one service, but now, after speaking with our music leader, it turns out that he's pretty cool with just playing by himself, you know, like playing on the organ or playing on the piano by himself. So I'm probably going to bump down the expectancy for the next reactions to possibly about 12. Instead of it being 1, I'll bump it down to 12 because sure, I still got to play however long they feel like playing the praise and worship music, but after that, I'm pretty much clear. So that way I can come back home and be able to do what I do here. But it'll probably be at 12. And I'll keep you guys posted if anything changes. Good to see you, Neil Johnson. Good to see you here, Cohagen, as well. I just wanted to let you guys know here and now. Q Mingo, excellent laugh. Q Mingo. That's the first I heard that. But I'm just letting you guys know ahead of time for those of you who are watching this reaction. And for those of you who are here live, and those of you who are watching this reaction after it's gone live, I'll put it in the community tab like I said before, and I'll keep you guys posted should anything change for my schedule for reactions on Sundays. But let's go ahead and get started with today's chapter. Oh, the chapter that we're coming to after Luffy says, you know what? Let me go ahead and bring down my gum god hand. So, let's go. Chapter 1048. 20 years. And here we have Cracker and we have Brulee. Germa 66's An Emotionless Excursion, Volume 10. I think Germa's come to Chocolate Town. So it seems that the two individuals that we saw the shadow and silhouette of in the last cover story for Germa's 66's An Emotionless Excursion was possibly Reiju and Ichiji. So have Reiju and Ichiji come to rescue their brothers? I wouldn't be surprised because one silhouette was of a feminine stature and another one was of a male stature. So I wouldn't, if Brulee is saying like, I think Germa's come to Chocolate Town. Of course, I could be entirely wrong. But let's go ahead and move on with this chapter. And now we continue right where we left off. We have Onigashima just floating in the air, and we have Luffy with his massive god hand coming down towards Kaido. With Momonosuke screaming out, "Move Onigashima out of the way! Wait, Luffy, I can't! And then Momonosuke thinks back to what his mom said. Where Toki says, when you reach the future, you must rebuild the Kozuki clan. And he thinks back to his family, Odin, Hiyori, and his mother back then. And I think he slammed his head into the side of Onigashima. And then we cut to the next page where it shows Luffy, and it shows Kaido. And then we get Kaido saying,
Very well, then. I will take your punch. Tell me, Straw Hat, did you know that 20 years ago, the hero of this country was burned to death
And it shows Kaido. It shows Kylo billowing fire out of his mouth. This isn't like a normal bolo breath, but fire is coming out of his mouth as like residual flame or whatever, or smoke's coming out of his mouth as he's preparing another bolo breath. Yo! Whoa! What? Excuse me? What you mean Kaido got a Susanoo? What is this? Flame Dragon Torch? What is this? Kaido's got a Susanoo! What do you mean he's got a Susanoo? Okay, so all this fire that came out of Kaido's mouth has enveloped him and created a giant flame version of himself that is now enveloping him.
Flame Dragon Torch! Ever since this has been a lawless place. And now you are the hero they've been waiting 20 years for.
And the thing is, Luffy can't even touch Kaido. He actually had to let go of Kaido because Kaido enveloped his entire body in flames. He made a flame Susanoo. And Luffy had to let go because it just burned his hand with him saying, "Yow!"
That's right, let go of me. I'm not going anywhere. And that giant fist of yours will not come down on me.
And it shows like a portion of this flame dragon torch touching the horn, the still intact horn of the left side of the skull of Onigashima, but it snaps it off from the heat. So whatever this flame dragon torch is, it's hot enough to snap off the horn just by the heat alone. Because it just touches the tip of it and it just snaps off and burns and melts. He is melting bone.
And that giant fist of yours will not come down on me. It will melt into nothing first.
And then Luffy says, "I'm not melting. Gum Gum!
Rising!"
Oh, wait. Is he saying Rising Dragon? No, he's saying, though, this is Kaido saying this. "I'm not melting! Gum Gum!
Rising Dragon!"
And then it cuts back to Grandpa Hio teaching him about Haki. "What you call Haki is known as Ryuo here in Wano." And it shows both Kaido and Luffy beginning to clash with one another. Proceed to go oh my goodness, this chapter. This is the type of chapter you get after a break. Good God. They start to go towards each other to officially clash. And then Luffy says, "The old man taught me how to do that without touching. I'll smash you all the way down to the bottom of hell." And then he says, what is it? How do I say this? Barangun? It's Bajrang, Rang. Is this Bajrang? Gum Gum Bajragun!
Flame Bagua!
And they both clash with each other. And then it cuts to the inside. It cuts to the inside of the castle as Usopp and Hamlet are getting out of the water, and we see Kiku and we see Kinemon here. Kiku! Sorry! Kiku, I didn't mean to drop you! You're still breathing, right? You better not be dead! And then we have Samurai saying, "You can do it, Straw Hat Fellow! Strike down Kaido for us until he's gone!" Then we got Kawamatsu saying, "None of this is truly over." Well, actually, the Samurai are saying, "None of this is truly over!" As Kawamatsu is just silent as he's thinking back to the Hour of Legends. Lord Odin, the vassals have escaped! Capture every last one of them! And then it shows Kinemon and the rest of Akazaya 9 running away from Odin, knowing that they're leaving him behind. And it shows the face... It shows the face of Hiyori, I think that's Hiyori. No, it's showing the faces of all the Akazaya 9. It shows the still smoking barrels of Kaido's pistol that he used to kill Odin with. And then it has Orochi saying,
"There's only one place those samurai could be going. It's Kuri!"
And then Kaido doesn't say anything. And then Orochi says,
"They've gone to protect Momonosuke, his heir."
And then Kaido says,
"He has a son. I'll go take care of that."
And then the samurai are saying, "Please, no more, leave the Kozuki clan alone." And then Kaido just cuts a swath completely through them saying,
"Move!"
And then Orochi says,
"Any who dare to defy the Shogun may be shot on sight."
And then that's when the Oniwa Banshu and the Beast Pirates start firing on innocent civilians. And then we have someone saying, "What about Odin's wife? She was confirmed dead in Bakura town. No one else escaped from Odin Castle. The Kozuki clan has been thoroughly wiped out." And then it comes down to Orochi, who's taken up the crown of being the being the shogun, saying,
"Now choose, daimyo. Will you join us in making our Wano great? Or is it war?"
And then the daimyo are all drawing their swords, as the daimyo of Udon, Ringo, Hakumai, and Kibi say, "If you already know the answer, then it's a stupid question." And it shows numerous samurai coming to the Kozuki Castle, the big Kozuki Castle, saying, "Our only shogun is Kozuki! Avenge Odin's death!" As they charge towards Kaido, who's floating above the castle in his dragon form. And then he charges up a bolo breath, and it just shows Kaido just wiping the floor and just decimating and killing numerous people. And then it shows Orochi just enjoying all of this, saying,
"You're so weak. Does the word samurai mean nothing?"
And it just continuously shows Kaido just Shin Godzilla-ing everybody. And then we have one samurai saying, "Curses! If he didn't have Kaido backing him up, that fool of a lord would be nothing. Pipe down, Orochi can hear a pin drop. Kaido's army will come after us." And then it shows numerous factories being made, as we see the decline of Wano. The moment after Odin's death, we see one factory, then we see more, with Kaido saying,
"Bring me every young man of working age. Pick up weapons."
And then it shows people being imprisoned in order to make weapons. "Pick up weapons! Let's fight back!" Wait! Don't take him away! Wait! Don't take him away! Daddy!
Don't talk back!
And then it has people saying, "What happened to the color of the river? There's no water to drink! The crops can't grow! We have nothing to eat!" This is the moment where we start seeing the decline of Wano under Orochi's rule. Like, crops are dying, the air is filled with pollution from the factories. You even see the skulls of people who used to live just scattered across the landscape. And then it has other samurai saying, "If you want to live to see tomorrow, then get..."
It's a beast power saying, "If you want to live to see tomorrow, then get to work. Work, you miserable trash. No one's coming to help."
And it's showing numerous people dying under this harsh slavery. And then some samurai are saying, "Don't rush. Be patient. There's a long, long winter ahead. Trust in Lady Toki's words." And then it shows Orochi laughing, and then it shows other people laughing as... with Orochi saying,
"Look at those greedy beggars, Kaido. They actually gobbled up the leftover scraps of smile fruit." "That's right. Learn from Ebisu Town. You might be hungry, your family might be dead, but you can still laugh and lead a bright, cheerful life."
And then it's showing that he's reveling in the fact that these people will be cursed to live life laughing even if they want to feel any other emotion.
It's just what you writhing, crawling maggots deserve.
And then it cuts to Orochi, who's still on fire, and in his Orochi form saying,
Darn it all! Komurasaki! I'll drag you down with me! Never count out the wrath of Kurozume! We can share a drink again when we meet in the afterlife!
And then someone says, Bedlam has arrived. And then Orochi looks back to see, oh, I called it! I called it! I called it! I called it! I called this! Oh, I was right! I was right! It's Denjiro! I called this! Woo! I called this! I called this! Oh! I called this! I called this! I called this during my reflections. I wondered where Denjiro was because he wasn't accounted for. And my specific words were, wouldn't it be something if Denjiro is the one who arrives to save Hiyori because he always looked after her when he found out where she was? And who is it that delivers the final blow to Orochi, who cuts off his final head, who forever ends the Kurozumi line, but Denjiro? In one fell swoop, Denjiro came in, saved Hiyori, and beheaded Orochi for the final time! Orochi is dead! I'm sorry if I'm screaming. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm screaming. But we see Denjiro cut off the head of Orochi. We see Denjiro just silent as we see the numerous flying boats from the people of the Flower Capital, with people saying, I wish Orochi would go away. That wish has been granted. We see Orochi's head falling to the ground, and music playing, and people cheering, with one saying, I want clean water again, and another one saying, please free us from this hell. And then we cut to the sky as we see Luffy and Kaido clashing with each other. Luffy using Gum Gum Bajrang, I don't even know how to say that right. Luffy using Gum Gum Bajrang against Kaido's Rising Dragon Flame Bagua. And it just shows in a massive explosion as they're clashing with each other, but they're not actually physically touching. Black Lightning is coming out, so Conqueror's Haki is being used here, but that is the end of the chapter. This was satisfying. This was satisfying. Oh boy. Let me just breathe. Not gonna lie, Orochi could still be alive. I mean, every other time we've seen Orochi come back alive, he's always been missing heads. Like, first time he was beheaded by Kaido, he didn't have 8 heads. He had 7. And then the Akazaya 9 came in and cut off all of his other heads. And now, in his Yamato no Orochi form, he's had his last head cut off. So I honestly feel like this is actually the end of Orochi. I honestly feel that this might be the official end of Orochi. It has to be, because he doesn't have any more heads to spare. I think that's the benefit of the Yamato no Orochi form, is that when you assumed it, all your other heads, if you got beheaded by one, you would come back and you would survive it, but you would have one less, bit my tongue, you would have one less head. But now he was down to his final one because we didn't see any more heads when he assumed his Yamato no Orochi form after having that nail taken out. You actually don't like the death of Orochi. He should have died way before this. And Komurasaki in the previous chapter was Amakozuki, shut your mouth, and now she's crying and Denjiro saves her. I mean, Julian, I honestly don't see anything wrong with the way that Orochi died here. Because think about it. And I said this during my reflections. Just like Denjiro was there for Orochi to cut down Komurasaki for her disrespect, Denjiro showed up and did the reverse and cut down Orochi for his disrespect. Because out of everyone that's been close to Hiyori during all these 20 years, Kawamatsu was there for her when she was younger, but Denjiro was the one looking out for her the entire time she was growing up. So I feel out of everyone in the Akazaya 9, if there was going to be someone who would save Hiyori out of this situation, it would be Denjiro, because he looked out for her this entire time. It's a real juxtaposition. The first time we see of Denjiro, he was on the side of Orochi, and now, all these years ago, when he returns to the side of Komurasaki again, he's on the side of the samurai and the liberation of Wano. Don't mind Komurasaki crying because she didn't turn away. She swayed back, held her feet, and faced down Orochi until his last moment. See, that's my thing. She didn't try to run away. She just stood and stared him down. Even when Orochi was cursing her, didn't Ashura Doji die? I believe he did. I believe he sacrificed himself in order to keep the fake Odin that Kanjiro conjured up to blow up. I think he sacrificed himself in order to save everyone else from being blown up as well, because his body was still laying outside when Jack was fighting Inuarashi. Either that, or he's just been heavily unconscious this entire time. Either one of those things. Either one, he's officially dead, or the explosion put him in a coma. Either one of those two. Unless we come back to his body and we see someone pronouncing him dead, I mean, you might as well just call it up in the air. Like, if I were to look this up right now, Ashura Doji. And there's no My Hero Academia chapter because it's still on break. So if I go here, it says his status is unknown. So even though we've seen him take pretty much the brunt of that entire explosion, his death has not been officially announced. Because if I go all the way down here, it says, Ashura maintained his grip on the drawing even as it stabbed him, and the explosives then detonated, engulfing both of them in a massive explosion, which left Ashura heavily injured and unconscious. It says unconscious here. It doesn't say dead. It says unconscious. So he might actually be just unconscious this whole time. We got no confirmed deaths. I would dare say that Orochi's head getting cut off for the final time, I think that... hold on, let me look into Orochi's page. Status unknown still. But he doesn't have any more heads, though. How much more can you go from this? He doesn't have any more heads. So right here, it catches up with today's chapter. Kanjiro's Kazenbo, having been reduced to a wisp of its former self, arrived to announce it had failed in its task. Orochi ordered Kazenbo to burn Hiyori, but the Fire Ghost instead chose to embrace Orochi, setting him alight. Luffy and Kaido's battle shook all of Onigashima and dislodged the Sea Stone Nail from Orochi, which restored his ability to transform. Still on fire, Orochi tried to kill Hiyori in his final act, but Denjiro arrived and beheaded Orochi again. I honestly feel like this might be the final beheading of Orochi. And apparently right here it says the user has an incredible amount of durability in their transformed state, which is common with Zoans, as well as surviving by Zeus enhanced lightning bolt. The fruit's multiple heads also allow the user to survive decapitation, even in human form, limited by the number of heads. As Fukudo Kuju had pointed out, Orochi had died once when Kaido decapitated him. When the remaining 9 red scabbards decapitated 6 of Orochi's remaining 7 heads, Orochi was shown to have once again survived later, with only 1 head left upon his next transformation in his attempt to kill Hiyori. His ability allows him to survive decapitation up to 7 times, uses to his advantage to launch hidden counterattacks on his unsuspecting foes. And that's one of the properties of the Hebi Hebi no Mi. From 985, 1008, the One Piece Wiki said Orochi and Kanjuro were dead, so I think they're being cautious. They might be. They might be. Hold on. Kohagen linked the imaged. It's the flower boats. One that says, give me a sip of clean water, and another one says, next chapter, please. No one cares about Orochi dying, though. I do, because I care about it, because the sooner he dies, the sooner everyone can rest easy and not have to worry about Orochi's presence anymore. So I care about getting that. I care about getting that closure. Don't mind Komonosaki crying because she did it away. Okay, I already saw that. Arashi's probably reviving him or something. We got no confirmed death so far. That's crazy. I think all Akazaya that lived the 20 years should die. They waited and fulfilled their massive wish. They deserve to rest. And we don't have a break next week. Yeah, we don't have a break. I would expect a break the week after a big jump break, Golden Week. The Oda health break seems to come up sooner than it feels it should. Who's going to shed any tears over Kurozumi Orochi? Show hands, exactly. Yeah, I'm not raising my hands. I'm not shedding no tears for this dude. He killed the Giga Chad of One Piece. He orchestrated the death of the Giga Chad of One Piece. Kozuki Oden. I hope not. I like 3 chapters, then a break, but I like no breaks more, but oh well. Yeah, I feel like with all the chapters we getting, Oda really does deserve a moment where he can just breathe and recuperate. I mean, if My Hero can have like a 2-week break, then Oda deserves one as well. So, I mean, as much as we would go out of our way to want these chapters week after week, we still got to think of the health of the authors as well. Authors and artists as well who give us these chapters every week. But this was a good chapter. Oh my goodness, this was a good chapter. 9 out of 10. If not a 10 out of 10 after seeing Denjiro. And you know what? This I'll call this a 10 out of 10 simply because Denjiro arrived just as I predicted. And not only that, but we got new moves from Kaido. Like, can we just talk about Kaido real quick? How this dude still has moves to spare. This dude created a flaming Susanoo version of himself to go up against Luffy's Gum Gum Bajrang. I don't even know how to say that. Let me see what this name even means. What does this move even mean? Bajrang gun. I need to look up what this move means. Go to Gear 5, because I was so content with calling it Gum Gum God Hand. I was so content with that. But it's got an official name now. So let me look this up. Preview of Luffy versus Kainu. And people, this chapter got a lot of mixed reviews, and people are saying his Susanoo is his awakening, which makes no sense to me. I don't see how him being able to cloak himself in flames would count as an awakening. I don't see how. But let me go down to it. Gum Gum Bajrang. Yeah, it's Bajrang is an alternate name of the Hindu monkey god Hanuman. Yeah, you are right. You are right, Karma. It is the name of the Hindu monkey king. But here's the description. Gummu Gummu no Bajrang. Luffy forms an enormous fist nearly the size of Onigashima and infuses it with armament and conquers Haki. He then launches a massive punch. How dare you interrupt me while I am reading. Who countered the attack with Shoryu Kaien Hake. So first of all, let's find out what this move is actually called for Kaido. So let me scroll down here. Shoryu Kaien Hake. Literally meaning Rising Dragon Flame 8 Trigrams. Kaido lunges upwards in his Kaien Daiko. Oh, so it's called, okay, Flame Dragon Torch first. Kaien Daiko. Kaido breathes a large amount of flames from his mouth, forming a giant fire dragon over his original dragon body. The heat of his fire dragon melts everything it comes into contact with, preventing opponents from touching Kaido. Who said that? Who said this? Who said it, Luffy versus Akainu? Blaziken. You might be onto something. You really might be onto something here, because if Luffy is able to take on Kaido in his Flame Dragon Torch form, which is a form that can melt anything at all, then this might be giving us a preview of how he's going to encounter Akainu one day. As much as I like when Oda doesn't take a break, his health is more important. Exactly, Ozzy, I agree with you completely. Otherwise, we'll have another situation like Togashi. Yeah, we really don't need that. It would be really nice to have Toki's Devil Fruit to go forward in time and binge all of One Piece. The trick would be finding out what year One Piece ends so you can read it from beginning to end. I'm scared because the battle it seems to be nearing ending, and Kaido didn't say if he's using his awakening or not. I need a confirmation. We don't know. Kaido is an emperor, strongest of the actual four. I think Blackbeard surpasses him. Actually. Oda can make him pull out every new move he wants, and it will have sense. It'll make sense. I think Sabo is fighting Akainu. Akainu might be a level hotter. When I read it, that is the first thing that popped into my head. It really makes you think, though. It really does make you think that if Luffy is able to contend with an element without even having to touch it, especially when said element is hot enough to burn him and melt anything, and he can just use Ryuo to not touch it at all, this could help Luffy against more Logia users in the future. But going back over here, so basically Rising Dragon Flame Bagua is just him lunging forward into someone with this move, with this giant flame Susanoo of his. The name of the technique is likely a reference to the Raikugo story Kaien Daiko. So if I pull up Kaien Daiko right here, and it's in complete Japanese, I'm going to need that translated. I can't read it. But we see two new moves from Luffy, and we see a new one from Kaido. Gum Gum Bajrang Gun, and then Flame Dragon Torch and Rising Dragon Flame Bagua. So let me go back to the chapter real quick. So this flame is hot enough to make Luffy let go. So here's the thing. I really did think that this was going to be the end-all, beat-all move, and Kaido wouldn't have anything to do, and he says he'll take... But Kaido did say, very well, I will take your punch. Kaido just said, like, okay, show me what you got. I'll take it. And then he causes flames to come out of his mouth. He cloaks himself in his Susanoo Flame Dragon Torch. Can you imagine? All these new moves that we're seeing, if they still supported One Piece Power Warriors 4, we would be seeing like Gear 5. We'd be seeing these different moves from Kaido, these different moves from Big Mom, these different moves from Law and Kid and Zoro and Killer and all these other individuals that we've seen fighting in this entire war. It would have been so nice if we could see all this. But that's just wishful thinking. Hopefully Summer Game Fest will actually show us something in June. Something good Muso-wise. But they start to clash with one another, but they don't actually touch because of the Ryuo. And the effect of this punch is so big and it's so impactful that Luffy actually has to cover his eyes because the flash of light that comes from this clash is so unbelievably bright. And then it goes over Orochi's pass as Kaido helped him take over Wano and shows Kaido killing everyone that tried to stand against them. It shows Wano on the steady decline as more factories got popped up and more people kept falling prey to being slaves and forced to be cursed to forever be failed smile. I wouldn't say failed smile users, but people who are suffering the effects of smiles for the rest of their lives, and Orochi's just reveling in it. And then it shows Orochi in his Yamato no Orochi form with his final head. And the thing about Orochi here is that he's still coughing up blood. From this one panel where he says, "Darn it all, Komodosaki," it still shows blood flying out of his mouth. So he's still massively hurt. And he's still very much on fire. His Zoan form is only mitigating the damage. It is not nullifying it completely. And then it has him laughing as Orochi says, "We can share a drink again when we meet in the afterlife." And then Denjiro comes in saying Bedlam has arrived, and Denjiro with one hand just cuts off the final head of Orochi. And then it just shows his head falling over and hitting the ground as Hiyori is held by Denjiro, and then it just continues to show the clash between Kaido and Luffy. Now, no one has brought this up as long as Wano's been going on. I feel like Kuri was ran by the Kurozumi clan before they were ran out of the region following the failed takeover. So isn't Kuri the same location where it was just a bunch of lawless people that Odin eventually came and usurped and ran over? Hold on. Let me look this up. Let me look up Kuri. Because I know it was under the rule of Odin for a time, but before then, Mount Atama, citizens, people who live there. History, though. Originally a region where exile outlaws gathered, pillaging and killing every day. Shogun Kozuki Sukiyaki chose to turn a blind eye to the region. Among those outlaws were Kinemon, who was born in Kuri, Raizo, Kanjiro, Kikunojo, Kawamatsu, Denjiro, and also Ashita Doji, who was hailed as the most dangerous of them all. So it says, was originally a region where exile outlaws gathered. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of the Kurozumi clan, resided in Kuri, because it does note that this was a place where exiled outlaws resided. Pirate Warriors 5 is going to be crazy. Karma, it really is. But I hope they do it the way that they did it for Pirate Warriors 3 instead of Pirate Warriors 4. Sure, Pirate Warriors 4 introduced a lot of big concepts, but it just didn't linger on as long as Pirate Warriors 3. Because once you platinum the game, which was not hard to do, there wasn't that much to do afterwards. It reminds me of King's last attack, which he must have learned from Kaido. Oh, you are right. That last final move from King. Hold on, let me look up that move. Let me look at that move from King. Because his move was flame related as well. So you might be right. Yo, you're right. The Imperial Flaming Wings. A powerful attack where King ignites his sword and from its tip produces a large whirling serpentine dragon made of fire, dense enough that Zoro calls it similar to magma. Yo, this is a move that King got inspiration from Kaido, which means that Kaido has used this flame dragon torch before. This is not the first time he's brought this out. So King based his Imperial Flaming Wings on Kaido's flame dragon torch. Because his King's move is as hot as magma as well. That Zoro calls it similar to magma, like it's able to melt stuff. And Kaido's is able to do that as well. So King based his move off of Kaido. That's how much he admired him. Ogata-san, you 200 IQ observation haki user. They should keep the form change, though. Yes, Karma, they should definitely keep the form change, but I feel like they need to go bigger. Because of all the good things that I liked about Pirate Warriors 4, there was still a lot of shortcomings that kept it from being the definitive One Piece game. Such as, I don't understand why they chose to just stop you leveling up to level 18. I don't understand why they made it so that I still felt limited by the options I was given. And a lot of the mechanics in the game really didn't make much sense, such as fighting enemies in the game who can, even in the middle of your combo, can just go like, oh, I'm going to change my form and completely negate your entire combo, or even the concept of when they have invincibility phases. I'm not a fan of enemies with invincibility phases in a game where you're supposed to be cutting through thousands upon thousands of enemies. I understand having a lot of health, but I don't understand making them invincible for a period of time or making them super tanky. That just turns them into bullet sponges, and no one likes bullet sponges in a Musou game. I understand being bullet spongy when you're starting up the game, but it shouldn't be the case when you have maxed out characters who should be at their most powerful. The concept of bullet sponge should not exist for maxed out characters. So that's just one thing I was just not a big fan of for Pirate Warriors 4. Hopefully, in Pirate Warriors 5, they learn from their mistake and make it so that it actually does become more definitive. Another thing, though, is they need to go back to introducing more mechanics that actually line up with One Piece. Because there are numerous times when you see people use haki in the game, but the haki does absolutely nothing to enhance your damage or does anything against enemies who are susceptible to haki. Case in point, Jinbei's form change. I know I'm going off on a big video game tangent right here. I'm going to give my final thoughts on the chapter, and that'll be it. I still need to do my reaction to the newest episode today, but I'll probably do that after I get back from having dinner with Mom while we go celebrate Happy Mother's Day. Also, if any mothers are out there watching my channel at all, just Happy Mother's Day to you. And if you guys have moms that you can still talk to, because not everyone has them, let them know that you love them and wish them a happy Mother's Day. And give the best from Kyushu as well to let them know as well. But Jinbei's form change in the game in Pirate Warriors 4 is you actually see his arms hockey up, like you see his arms turn black, but they don't do anything other than just being a cosmetic appearance. Which is, I feel, a missed opportunity, given the fact that you see numerous characters in the game use haki with their attacks, but it doesn't actually do anything at all in terms of enhancing your moveset or enhancing gameplay. It's just there to look pretty, and that's it. I feel like if they do another Pirate Warriors game, they need to bring back... They actually, you know what? I don't think they even brought it back in the previous game. Because in the previous game, there was a special skill called Power to Perceive One's True Form, which allowed people, it is a skill that you could equip that would allow you to injure Logia users in the game, which gave you a way, it was the closest you could get to using haki against people that would be invincible to you outside of changing your form or going into your full force burst or your Kazuna drive if you were playing Pirate Warriors 3. I feel like they need to bring in the actual concept of hockey as an actual gameplay mechanic. Because there's lots of characters out there that can use Conqueror's hockey, they can use Observation hockey, and they can use Armament hockey. Conqueror's hockey is pretty much a given. Conqueror's hockey is already pretty much a given, because that can already be an attack, but I feel like they need to enhance Conqueror's hockey, because it just doesn't seem as powerful as it did in Pirate Warriors 3. I could go on a whole tangent about the differences between One Piece Pirate Warriors 3 and One Piece Pirate Warriors 4, but this is not the stream for it. I gotta keep my answer short, and if I have time today, we can talk about it more. Or tomorrow, because I don't have anything planned for tomorrow for you guys. But I'll probably talk about it tomorrow. Like in Burning Blood, I never played Burning Blood, but was hockey an actual gameplay mechanic that enhanced gameplay or movesets? If so, then I would very much like for the next Pirate Warriors game to dip into that. I feel for Pirate Warriors 4, a lot of moves that did a ton of damage, I feel like they massively nerfed. Because when you're playing as a Logia user, I mean, you should feel powerful at all times. I don't want to play as Kizaru, and I'm knocking people into the air, and then I'm just barraging them with lasers, but it's doing chip damage. That shouldn't be the case. Oh boy. I'm going off on another tangent. I need to get back to the story. Sorry to get sidetracked. It's just that I have a lot of things that I feel like they should have done for Pirate Warriors 4, but like I said, now is not the time to talk about it. This chapter was great. I haven't screamed that much since the Gear 5 reveal. But to see that my prediction of Denjiro coming in and saving Hiyori was actually right, and I predicted it accurately, exactly as I thought, and for it to be right, that just made me happy. So this just made this like a 10 out of 10 chapter for me, especially a 10 out of 10 chapter coming out of a break. Yeah, I was incredibly happy to see that happen. But overall, since we're not going on break next week, we're just going to have to see where things go from here. Because Denjiro, we pretty much just leave this chapter with Kaido and Luffy going up against each other with what seems to be their most powerful attacks. What seems to be. Who knows if Kaido can go even further, because we don't even know if this is... I highly doubt that this is... Who knows? This might actually be his awakening, because think about flame clouds. He can use it to envelop an entire island and cause it to float, but we don't know what extent and what variations of flame clouds can actually do to Kaido himself, as far as, hey, he can use flames to make islands float. Well, what if he can use flames to cause a giant Susanoo to appear around his body? We don't know to what full extent, so we can't even tell if this is his awakening or not. Matter of fact, if I go over to his Devil Fruit power, it doesn't even say that he has an awakening on it. At least not yet. At least not officially. We get all of his abilities, strengths, and weaknesses and usages, but we don't get any official awakening notifications from. We'll just have to see. Regarding the cover story, someone on Tekken's channel was guessing it was Crocodile and Daz Bones. But if I go back to this cover page... Hold on, let me go back. Let me go back to a previous chapter. If I go back to 1047 and look at the cover art there... No, that's 1046. See, if you look at the silhouettes, one looks like it's in the shape of a high heel almost. On the left side, if you look at the chapter 1046 for chapter 1046 Raizo, one looks like a high heel, and another one looks like a man's regular shoe. But it's hard to tell. So it might be. Also, Psycho, well, Kyushu, guess what? Let me guess. You got to Chaos level 35 on Wonderlands, didn't you? I'm just taking a wild guess because you've been chiming in, letting us know your progress, and you've been doing very well so far. Luffy and Kaido's final attacks equal to Goku's Kamehameha and Vegeta's Gallic Gun. Pretty much. Crocodile shoes. It might be crocodile shoes. It might be. We don't know. It just feels like I'm so used to seeing like the shoes look like they're raised at the heel and then they swoop inwards like a woman's high heel. I could be wrong. I could be wrong, and it could just be the way that person's shoes are. It could be a dude's shoes, but they're just like have a high back to it. Who knows? I don't know. We'll just have to see in the next and Emotionless Excursion cover story in the next chapter next week. We'll just have to see. But overall, this was a really good chapter, and I enjoyed every single second of it. I cannot wait to see the confirmation of Orochi's death. Because after this head is gone, Orochi has no more heads to grow back. He lost all of his heads when Kaido beheaded him. Then he lost 6 of his heads when the Akazaya 9 beheaded him. And then he lost his 7th and final head when Denjiro beheaded him. So who knows if Orochi can come back for this or not. If he does, then he doesn't have any more ways to survive any more beheadings. If he doesn't survive, then let's all be thankful that this is finally the end of one of the most hated characters in One Piece ever. That's all I can say. The problem is that if Kaido is not using his awakening, then the battle is far from over, and the problem of Kaido using it and Oda not confirming it, it would be a plot hole in the future. That's why I'm saying that we have to wait for Oda to confirm things before we just go off the handle. I want you to try doing some Khonshu during my next VO stream, add it to the list. Khonshu from Moon Knight? Please and thank you. You know what, CJ, since you mentioned that, and I don't have anything planned for Monday, tomorrow will be a VO stream. I literally don't have anything planned for Monday or Tuesday, since beginning after the end chapters will be coming out on Friday. So that's when the beginning after the end reactions will be happening. But I don't have anything planned for Monday. So tomorrow will be a voiceover stream. Because Kaido will lose and will say, I was using my awakening all along. If that happens, then why not say it? Why not say it before? You do make a very good point, Julian. We just have to wait. We just gotta wait to see what the next chapter will hold for us. But that's all I got. Oda can't ignore his awakening. He can't. We can't ignore the fact that Kaido, we haven't seen it from Kaido. But then again, we haven't seen an awakening from Big Mom, and she wound up falling into a ginormous pit with a big explosion waiting on her. So Oda's probably biding his time. But we just have to wait. We can have a lot of theories about where things could possibly go, whether or not we'll see an awakening from Kaido, and whether if his big giant flaming Susanoo is all that we can see from him. We just have to be patient. I know I say this all the time, but we really don't have any other choice. Overall, I enjoyed this chapter, and that's all I got for you guys, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, my reaction to episode 1016 of the One Piece anime will be after I come home from eating dinner with my mom, so that way we can make the reservation on time. What if they both awaken? What if they both awaken Big Mom and Kaido? What if we get both awaken Big Mom and awaken Kaido at the same time? That would be scary. I really hope that doesn't happen, because Luffy's already contending with, the strongest creature in the world. So we just gotta... I don't want to think about what happens if Big Mom awakens and she comes back madder than ever. I don't want to think about it, because it's just too much. Can't wait for my reaction to 1016. Neither can I, because I'm glad that I put that poll up, wondering if you guys wanted me to do a reaction to Bardo's Secret Room, but I couldn't even find the episode because it apparently isn't counted in the list. And it just has episode 1015, and it then has 1016. Let's just see where things go for the story. Sorry if I'm rambling, but I just want to cover all my bases. Yes, Gota won't let us down. In Gota we trust. Pretty much Big Mom will have a battle with Luffy later, so Oda is saving it for that. Big Meme is down, so nobody cares about her. Correction, Kohagen. You don't care about Big Mom. You've been calling her Big Meme ever since she got knocked off of the waterfall by Marco. Won't let us down. Tell Mama Kyushu we said Happy Mother's Day. I will let her know. Yeah, I'll let her know. But that's all I got, ladies and gentlemen. How many times have I said that during this stream? Someone's probably counting. I probably said that about 5 times already. All I can say is, hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. Real quick, before I finish, to those who don't know, my channel has recently become eligible for Super Thanks. And I explained this in my community post that my channel has become eligible for Super Thanks, which is essentially what Super Chat is for live streams, but it also can happen for my regular videos as well. You counted 28 times? You lied. Then again, this is me, so I wouldn't be surprised if I said that 28 times. But what Super Thanks is essentially what Super Chat is for live streams, but it's basically for any video that I do. Not just live streams, but for any video that I do. So that it just opened up my channel for new ways for people to show their appreciation for the things that I'm capable of uploading for you guys at any given time. And it's not just for videos that I make from here on in, but any video I've made in the past. So that's just another way for this channel to be supported and for people to show their appreciation for the things that I do here on this channel. And I'm just thankful that this channel has lasted long enough to allow me to have that opportunity. I'm just humbled by this channel's continued success. And I'm just humbled by the fact that I have people like you who enjoy what I do. It is an honor and a privilege to do this every single week, if not every single day. And I look forward to it immensely. But all I could say is, hope y'all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. And if you're new to the channel and you enjoyed what you saw here today, then consider subscribing or even consider becoming a member, because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. So have a fantastic day. And once again, as always, later, peoples. Good Lord, I love my job. I will never, ever, ever get tired of this.